Hi everyone and welcome back. Today I will be doing a demonstration of day 6 with my filly Chobit, and this is going to be her very first ride, so very exciting. I'm going to start by saddling her. I've already got her saddled up for the sake of time, and I'm just going to start walking around the round pen with her and just letting her feel the saddle, feel the cinches and all the straps and motions, and just try to do my best to prepare her to have a positive reaction when I ask her to move off. So she walked around really polite, so now I'm going to take her off of the lead line and I'm going to ask her to move off. And as you can see, she is giving me a bit of a sour reaction. I don't have my whip on me at the moment, so I just kind of let her work those little bumps and humps out. The only thing I can't tolerate is what she just did right there, which was changing directions, giving me two heels instead of facing me. So I did get kind of loud correcting that with my body language. And again, she's just sort of charging around the round pen here, so I'm going to retrieve my whip from the fence just to give me a little bit more added communication with her. And position myself back into the center of the round pen to continue directing her feet. Now I'm attempting to call her in and she just doesn't want to come in, so I'm going to step out in front instead and change that direction again and really get her thinking about what she's doing. Again, changing that direction and controlling where her feet are going. So now I've asked her to come into me and she's done so very respectfully. So I'm going to give her a release in the center of that round pen. You can see all the changing of directions that we did really helped motivate her to listen and to think about what I was asking her to do. I really want to make sure that I am completely preparing Chobit for the experience that she's going to have with me being on her back while she moves. So I want to familiarize her with a lot of gestures that the saddle is going to be making, as well as other pieces of her tack. So I'm just going to be slapping the saddle, moving the stirrups around, and just sort of getting it very alive on her back. And right here I'm attaching my boat buoy tools to her saddle horn, and I'm going to move her off with those boat buoys attached to the saddle horn and just let her kind of run around and feel those at her sides, kind of hitting up on her shoulder and falling back into her flanks, and just really help her to associate that movement with my legs. And of course, I'm going to be changing her directions and moving her feet to keep consistent with that respect that we're going for. And I step out in front and call her in. She did a fantastic job with those buoys. So I'm going to pet her, give her a release, and then remove them and just throw them down in the middle of the round pen. And like with the Jeffries method, I'm going to pat her and jump all around her and make a lot of loud, kind of abrasive movements so that she's very familiar with any kind of weird or awkward positions I might take under saddle. And I'm just going to go really slowly with her. I step up into the stirrup and lean over the saddle and pet her on the flanks, on her butt, on her neck and shoulder, and just really solidify that this is going to be a positive experience, much like the Jeffries was to her, because she's already very familiar with me being up on her back and being very positive about it and very rewarding. Again, because colts are so stop and go and scotchy, it's going to be very important to make some abrupt gestures and to really help familiarize them with some strange and bizarre movements. So by flopping and shaking the stirrups and waving my arms above her and kind of rolling around on top of her, that's just going to do the very best to prepare her for anything strange that might happen under saddle. And I've got her back on the halter now because I was doing some desensitizing. I just want to make sure that she's still with me and that she understands that the saddle is still up there, because as I've said before, colts can easily forget that it's up there, and then when they feel it grab them, kind of go to bucking again. And so now, the moment you've been waiting for, I'm going to just carefully get all the way up on her, swing a leg over, and tuck it into my stirrup very quickly. And you may or may not notice that I only have one end of the lead rope. I have not tied it around into reins. I just have the lead rope in one solid length. And that is because I'm only going to be focusing on moving her one direction at a time, because this is all going to be very new and very frightening to her to see out of both eyes. So here I am showing you the lead rope, and now I'm just going to flex her head around, and I'm going to ask for that vertical flexion. Sorry, I mean lateral flexion, goodness. And as soon as she gives to that lateral flexion pressure, I release. And of course, lots and lots of petting and rubbing and just a lot of praise. But I don't want to get stagnant on the saddle either. I definitely want her to remember that I'm up there. So with a lot of colts, I don't recommend just squeezing or kicking them to get them to move off. As with anything, you want to ask with the least amount of pressure possible and then graduate through phases of pressure. So by progressing through different levels, that's what the horse is going to understand and where they're going to learn. Offer them a good deal first, and if they don't want to take it, then you're going to escalate to more pressure. So basically, by doing that, I'm going to kiss first and kind of get really alive with my hands and with that lead rope to ask her to move off. As you can see here, she doesn't require any squeezing or kicking or spanking in order to move forward, which is awesome. I love a horse with a lot of forward motion. And every time she walks around a little bit, I just make sure to keep her bent in case anything were to happen or she were to spook or run off to buck. I've got her nose tipped around so I could easily shut her down and pet her to make her very calm and reassure her that everything's okay. And I'm going to whoa her on my own there by shutting her down, because I want her to know that every time I bend her around like that, she needs to shut down. And right there, I just sort of lifted the lead rope over her head, and now I'm going to go to the other side of her. And this is where some colts can get really frightened and bound up when you switch eyes and switch the side of the body. So you'll definitely want to use your best caution when you do this. And of course, I didn't walk her off right away. I went and flexed her, gave her a moment to think about it, and petting her. One more lateral flex, which was awesome, so I released. And then I'm going to become very alive with my hands and also give her just a little bit of a kiss to let her know I want her to move forward. And Chobit does a great job. She is going to be highly trainable because of her desire to move forward under saddle. And again, just petting and rubbing and telling her she's doing a fantastic job. You definitely want to celebrate these little achievements with horses. You have to remember, these guys are just babies. They're not advanced horses that have some kind of formal training. So this is huge for them, and it's definitely an accomplishment that should be recognized and praised. And again, I'm only letting her walk in the direction that I have the lead rope because I am tipping that lead rope just slightly. And I just took the lead rope and switched her back to the left side again, so I'm laterally flexing her to the left. And just a lot of praise, a lot of petting so that she doesn't feel that I'm getting stagnant. And I'm going to ask her to move off again and walk around just a little bit more, but I am going to keep this ride very short and sweet because at this point she has demonstrated a lot of willingness, and I am so pleased with her results. So I'm going to make this a nice, short, fun ride for her with a lot of positive reinforcement, and then I'm going to end it. For the first ride, making it short, sweet, and always ending on a positive note is going to be the best reinforcement to your horse for all the good things that they're doing under saddle. More to come on this gorgeous little filly. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.